we were talking about 4 questions that we ask all teachers. Welcome, everyone. So, number one, which is the main challenge your students have to face when they learn a language?
Okay, I have to say that's a great question. And honestly, I believe that the biggest challenge can vary depending on the person, their background, and how they're learning. If you pick a major challenge that affects most learners and achieve fluency in real life communication, that is another approach that, in other words, would allow you to have natural and organic conversations with some of the people. So thinking a new language and acquiring abilities when it comes to that, it would be like first thing that they think that learning a language, it's something that it could be approachable. It would be like translating, which is one of the biggest challenges because not always translating will lead you to acquiring abilities and communicative skills. Another challenge
Great.
is like listening comprehension.
Sorry, you said
Most
reading comprehension?
listening comprehension.
Listening
Yeah,
comprehension, okay.
comprehension. That would be something else that it would be a big challenge because people are most used to listening to American English, and I believe that they need to expand the things that they consume. I mean, try to listen to other accents. It would be something that it puts like a challenge, but at the same time enhances your comprehension. I believe other thing to take into account it would be to be more confident and not fearing of mistakes,
Oh,
because people believe that
that is another point. That is the second question I'm about to ask you about making mistakes.
yeah, keep
So
approaching
tell
with it.
me, how can they face it if they make mistakes? How can you face failure?
Wow. By teaching a second language, I believe it's a journey, as it's a journey that it is on the person's, it's on their own, you know. Uh, First of all, to face it, it would be to create a safe and low stress environment in which learners can feel more comfortable, but making mistakes, not to be afraid of, to making mistakes, not to be afraid of asking questions, and progress must be, in a slow way down. I believe that one tip that I can give it would be to praise effort over perfection, because most people believe that
Yeah,
every class is 3 months, 6 months of classes. It will lead you to have a proficiency when you
this
use
is
them.
really it's a steep learning curve. It's a steep learning curve, definitely.
Also, I believe that focus on communication over perfection. I mean, grammar, I have to say, as a teacher, grammar is important, but don't let perfection stop the flow of the conversation. Prioritize meaningful use of the language, having real life dialogues, role plays, problem solving tasks. Let them use the language, but not to study it. I mean, if you want to study it, you have to have your moments in which you can study it, grammar, because grammar is one of the bases. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a structure. It's
it's
a
a structure,
structure.
and
It's a
it can be.
necessary structure, and you need it. Okay, it's an essential part to maybe not at the beginning. Okay, because in the first years of learning or the first stage of learning, you don't force them to learn complex structures. Well, eventually, if you want to obtain proficiency, it's an undeniable fact that they need to learn advanced grammar and vocabulary altogether, which is the most difficult part of the English in any Cambridge exam. Use of English, use of
Mhm.
English.
All
Mhm.
that comes to my mind, it would be use repetition with vary. I mean, reinforce vocabulary structures, through different contests, skills, reading, speaking, games, writing, to keep engaging, the effectiveness
Yeah,
of acquiring a new language. Yeah,
yeah, you're
that would be.
right. I have another question. I have another question. Now, as a teacher, um, what are the three things that you say, okay, I cannot teach without them? Okay, maybe it could be a tool, it could be a thing, or it could be something that you have acquired. Three things that you need every single day or every single moment at the teacher moment.
Well, that's a really tough question to reply, but because every year, before you were asking how many years I've been doing this, and I have to say that I've been doing this half of my life. 19 years, and the experience that I
Lots.
have, yeah, lots. And I would say that number one, it would be motor resilience. Show your
Oh,
students,
yeah,
yeah,
that's true. No,
show
so this is one of the soft skills we need.
Yeah, and that is one of the soft skills too that most people are afraid to speak about. I would say that show your students how you deal with the setbacks. If you don't mess up or forget
Okay.
something, treat it lightly and keep going. Try to keep going. That teaches people how to handle their own struggles. Every single path is different. Every single path is individual, and you're not teaching English, you're teaching how to learn, and that is the difference. The other thing that crosses my mind, it would be to celebrate small wins,
Yeah.
Sometimes we get up with what students haven't mastered, and instead of that, highlight little victories, which is a well form of a sentence or a brave question or a good effort that will motivate and thrive, this path of learning a second language. And failure feels personal, but it's actually a universal language, universal, in language and learning and teaching. And I think the key, it would be treat it as a data, no drama. Because sometimes teachers can take it as a personal thing, and you just having a register and you're the witness of how people are learning English. So try not to, like in life, try not to take it as a personal thing, I would say.
That's true. That's true. That's important to understand. We just are part, we are not the main part of the process. No,
Yeah.
no,
And it's that,
no, that's why we cannot take personal, the failures, students' failures, or we cannot take it like, okay, this person is not acquiring or having the level that I was expecting for this moment. But that's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to set the path to the students and to explain them how to achieve their goals. And I guess that is really important. I have another question here.
yeah.
So, if you have to give them a piece of advice from the most important to the less, think about what is the motto that you could say or could tell to your students about learning a language, because this is not only for our students that learn English, but also remember we have students that learn Spanish. We also have students that learn French, students that learn Italian. So, which is your top three list of pieces of advice for a student?
Well, if you're having like I wouldn't say personal, but like a certain training, because right now I'm training for acquiring a certificate. I have to say, not every lesson will land. I mean, or not every topic will land. So in that case, some of the and students might not engage, or a great idea might help and take it like a part of the process. I'm thinking
I,
about.
I lost you.
Um,
I lost you. Sorry.
are you listening? Are you listening? Let me know.
I,
What about now?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
So do you want me
I
to
lost
continue?
the part. You were saying that I lost you a while ago. So I'm trying
Don't worry.
to grab what you were telling me.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I can repeat it. So the idea that I
Please.
was developing, it is that when you're having like a certain training, yes, for example, that right
You
now,
you told yes, you told us that you are preparing yourself for the certificate. To that point, I listen what you say.
okay, so the point is to accept that not every lesson and not every topic will land. So it's part of the process. You know, some of the lessons won't work. Students, as me, for example, might not engage or have a great idea that might flop. So that is okay. So to take it like, pretty slow. The other thing that I would advise, it would be redefine failure. You know, failure, as I said in language learning, isn't in forgetting about words or messing up grammar. Try not to give up. Instead, try to manage or use failure as a motivation to keep going. That every mistake is a step closer to
You
acquire fluency.
go.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I have a mindset shift, which is I didn't failure. I just found something that I need to practice more. And that is one of,
Exactly.
yeah. So
That's good.
having,
It helps you to keep driven and focused. Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's something that I always try to keep in mind. I mean, it's not pretty or it doesn't feel good when you failure, when you fail, when you have failures. But when you find that failure, you learn from it. I mean, I have to quote somebody, which was a biologist,
Mm-hmm.
Humberto Maturana. I don't know if you have heard about him.
No.
He's a Chilean biologist, and he said something that failure and mistake is another chance and is another opportunity to make your story different. So
Yeah,
when you
that's right.
when you
Mm-hmm.
read,
It's a setback, but it's a setback to gain more energy, or maybe sometimes because you just have to settle down, think it twice, keep it pushing yourself, because sometimes the problem is that we don't set targets that are achievables or reachables. And sometimes we have to analyze. Obviously, as you say, there are some things in our priorities that are not negotiables. I mean, this is something that we have to do. If it's a certificate that you need it, you driven and focused and you do it. But sometimes failure is part of it's that. Get up and go. That's it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and take up the dust and keep going. And the
Mm-hmm.
third one, which is also about failure or problem mistakes, it's, make mistakes on purpose. Seriously, I mean, challenge yourself to speak boldly and expect to make mistakes. I mean, probably throughout this whole life,
It's a
yeah,
leap
we
of
will.
faith.
And
Yeah, yeah,
we
right.
yes to communicate ideas and to engage people to listen until this moment. So you learn faster and get more comfortable with probably uncertainty. So that would be the three tips that I can give you.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Dubraska, we hope to have you in our podcast over this week, maybe this weekend, and we can keep talking about this. We can keep talking about inspiration and success, how it's failure part of the process and the step learning curve. And we hope you to have you very, very soon in our podcast. Thank you very, very much. And please, when you post this live, uh, tag me. I would like to have it also in my website. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.